Welcome back, everyone, to the Backgate podcast. It's looking a little different this time. It's been a second. We're both in Wellington. This is my co-host, Jake Endicott. Jake, what's up?
Welcome back!
We're back. We're back. It's been a second. Explain. There's a couple reasons why we haven't been filming as much as we would have liked. We did an additional episode in Michigan, if you guys remember. Where I was in Michigan. Where were you during that time? California?
I don't remember that episode.
It's been a
I
second.
don't remember doing an episode.
That's how long it's been, actually.
Yeah, no good excuses actually for not doing one. We just didn't do one.
Yeah. Well, no. That's completely not true. That's
Right.
completely. I went to France for 2
That's not
months.
true. Yeah, that happened.
He's calling Cap. Yeah, it's been a while, but we're back. We're in the same location. This is looking a little different than it usually does. We're in Wellington for the entire circuit, so you're gonna see a lot more of us in this type of format for future episodes. Excited to be in the same location.
Yeah, we're super close together right now. It's slightly uncomfortable, but I'm gonna have to get used to it. It's gonna be just fine.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about
Maybe a
sharing
bigger
the same
couch for the next episode.
Exactly. I think we need a little
Yeah.
distance next time, but we work with what we've got here on the Backgate podcast.
Yeah, we're for sure weekly episodes. I said that in the last
Yes.
episode.
You
I
made
think
that claim.
actually every episode I said weekly episodes, but this time I'm not lying.
You've made that claim a few times, but he's not lying and representing too with the painting my
horses.
Yeah, so we're on topic.
Point.
Anyways, though, like I said, we're spending the entire circuit in Wellington, having a good time. Both of us working really hard. I'm doing my road to the top gig, and that's going very well. Jake, you've been showing a lot too. Hopefully going to get into some U25 action with me this week.
I've been here for a few weeks, 3 weeks now, working for Alon. So yeah, hopefully we can stay together for longer. Hopefully we can keep our jobs. That would be good.
We're working hard to do that. Yeah.
And yeah.
Sounds good. So we thought that with this whole transition period of us being here in Wellington for the circuit, we thought it was only fair for you listeners to bring up a common topic, I would say, that's brought up in the industry, and West versus East Coast. So we've experienced both. We're both from the West Coast. We're moved basically to the East Coast now, and spending the entire winter here. So having that experience now, we're still getting used to these East Coast vibes, but I just want to check in with you. What is your overall perception of that transition? Like I said, we've both been raised on the West Coast, but now experiencing what many people consider to be a much more superior atmosphere in terms of show jumping. Are you feeling that? What are the biggest differences that our listeners might not know about? Explain.
I've always thought this was the better coast, to be honest. Ever since the first time I came here, like, I don't know. There's the only thing really out here.
Well, I'm just experiencing more that I think everyone is a little more closed off.
Super intense.
Yeah, exactly. And
locked in at all times, which is a good thing, not a bad thing, but
right. Well, you think too, the atmosphere of Wellington. Obviously, it's one community, but you're spending so much time in your individual barns versus I feel like if you're in the desert or somewhere out west, you kind of are forced to commune.
Yeah, everybody's at the horse show, I guess.
Right.
Here, there, everybody goes back to their farms and they're just alone in their own little factories.
Their own little world.
Yeah. In California, we're forced to be together, united as one.
Right. So united as one. There's a lot more, I guess, California pride. But like that's the difference, though, is that like I don't know if it's nicer per se, but it's just very different in the layout and
the vibes are very different. Everything's different.
So that's the thing. Like when you go to the horse show here in Wellington, because you don't spend much time in the horse show, you're there to compete or to watch a big class. So it's
a real competition.
So it's always intense, like 100% of the time. Versus like I would say anytime it's like casual is if people that are coming to your farm or vice versa, right?
And also it's just at such a way higher level here, so people are just more focused. The stakes are higher.
Well, that's something else that we need to touch on too, because I feel like the idea of, we're in the year 2025, and you would think with social media and technology that everything would sort of, it would even the playing field in terms of, the atmosphere and the, like you said, the vibe that you were talking about. But it really doesn't feel that way, because when you look at the layout, I mean, the East Coast is just built more for our sport. It's got that old money, right? A lot of people were raised in this sport,
Yeah.
being from this coast, versus West Coast, you get into many like different hobbies. You know what I mean? It's just that it's not as conducive.
It's
We've
been
got,
more of a staple out here for so much longer.
yeah,
It's
like
just like more people. There's just more people that are doing the
when you think
sport.
West Coast, you think Cowboys and Western, right?
Yeah.
Versus East Coast, you think of like that old school like tradition,
Yeah.
which is way more where show jumping is rooted into.
Yeah.
It's way closer to that than any sort of Western discipline.
California's getting better. They're getting. I mean, the
For no,
five
for
star
sure.
coming this week. Uh, so there's one 5 star during this
Yes.
during the season.
But no, that's the thing, is it's getting so much better, and you'll see like this upcoming week, like you mentioned, the 5 star in California. There's going to be a ton of people, a good amount of riders that go over there to compete there.
Yeah, they'll come out for sure.
Right.
Especially because there's no 5 star here. That there's no reason for them to stay if they have that option.
And it's good enough now there
Yeah.
in desert to produce a,
Yeah.
a top horse show.
I actually prefer Thermal, the facility, to here.
So that's actually something that I've thought too.
Yeah.
Like I because, and I don't, I've tried to look at it in the non-biased way, most non-biased way possible, and I do prefer like if you're just looking for facility alone, that I think it's
Yeah.
superior.
The only thing maybe that I like better about here is the Grand Prix ring is more of a stadium.
Yeah, for
Like
sure.
there's so many more seats and people. So there's so many more people.
Yes.
Also,
Yes.
it just feels like you're actually jumping in a stadium. Whereas thermals, like there's those people on one side, then there's the VIP, and then some people go on the side opposite of the VIP, and
Yeah.
then the one side is just empty.
But
It's good, but it's not the same.
for sure, and they're working hard. I think over the years they've raised it a lot.
For sure, it's better.
Like
It
when
used to
I
be terrible.
well when I was a kid and you would go to the stadium. I don't know if you thermal. I don't know
Yeah.
if you had the same experience, but the ring was so big. They shortened the ring over
Yeah,
the
they
years.
made it a lot
It
smaller.
it got so boring on the far side of the ring
Yeah.
because there's no one over there sitting over there, and you just lost the entire atmosphere. But I think the horses kind of lost interest too. I mean, it was just a boring ring. So they've made it smaller and more condensed. But I agree with you. Wellington has the advantage of that elevated like stadium feel.
Yeah.
Because with that much seating, my brother came week one with my family to watch, and he had never been to Wellington, and we were watching. I think it was the Battle of the Sexes. I think that was week 0 actually.
Yeah.
But it was just something to watch because he's never been. And we walk into the VIP, and he was like, "Well, I would come to more of your competitions if this was where it was every time, because it was. I mean,
Yeah.
it was the Battle of the Sexes. It wasn't like
So
a
boring to watch.
4 or 5 star, but and yet the atmosphere was
Yeah.
was electric, and you're like, what's going on?
I think just the way it's designed with the layered, like the higher
The tier,
level,
yeah.
like the seating, it's just better.
But going back to why we prefer their facility, I would say the number one reason is I think it's way more horse friendly.
Yeah, so much more space.
Yeah, yeah. There's
Warming up here, if you have a traffic shy horse, just
well, yeah. I mean, just take
don't bother jumping. The when they have the junior amateur classes in there,
Yeah.
that is when you have to really look both ways before you're crossing, because they are coming everywhere, anyway, and they're not slowing down for you. They won't.
No.
They won't move out of your way. No, they're gonna hit you.
I mean, those jumps on the end
No,
when they like roll back to
don't
them.
bother rolling back.
No, they do, and there's I mean, no
You're
one
dead.
exactly. You're dead if you're just trying to flat in a straight line. Watch out, 'cause that's not. I mean, that's not gonna happen. Like you're gonna be playing ping pong in there.
The global facility actually has great warm up space. Obviously, for the grass field, you have tons of space, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And even for the stadium over there, where the U25 is next week, that warm up ring is bigger than the international.
Yeah.
warm-up.
Well, so last 2 weeks ago now, it was my first time ever competing on the grass, and I had been spent time at Global, but that was my first time competing at that facility. And yeah, it's just like a breath of fresh air, the amount of space you've got there. Even on a like Thursday before a class or Friday or whatever, you've got options depending on how FEI is laid out, but you've got the indoor, you've
Yeah,
got those two outside rings.
a lot of places to ride.
Yeah, you've got the
And it's
field.
just FEI, so you don't have. There's like maybe 100 horses.
Right. I kick started U25 this circuit with in week 2. And I was actually talking to some people about how it was set because you Wellington talks a big game if people who spend the circuit out here and then go somewhere else or something about how it's always big, right? It's always gigantic, even U25. Um, but people were saying that specifically this year, that they've in the past they've made a point to start it off a little bit softer and then build, and then by the end it's massive. But they were saying, and I thought it was very fair what I walked the entire week, the welcome and the GP.
I didn't walk either class actually.
But people I talked to disagreed. They said it was tougher than even in years past
Really?
for the first U25 week. I was surprised to hear that.
It definitely wasn't small.
No.
I have never been here for the first U25 week, so I don't know. I had no idea if they were.
Yeah, we have nothing to compare it to, but it's an interesting thing to hear, and we'll have to keep track of all of this as the WEF progresses.
It definitely didn't look small from a
I,
spectator point of view.
it wasn't small, but I didn't really even I had no like weird thoughts about it. Like it's what I expected.
It looked like it was just set to spec, like it was a 145 class.
Exactly. They weren't trying to like pull a fast one on anyone. If they list at 145, it's going to be 145. Yeah, exactly.
Because there were still a lot in it, like 60 something.
It's still packed.
Were there a lot of clear rounds?
There were enough. I think. Yeah, there were enough. I'm trying to remember. I want to say there was 10 or so, maybe more.
That's plenty.
Yeah, I think there was a good amount, and it was a good jump off too because, but it seemed there were rails flying on the jump off too.
Really?
Yeah, it wasn't like everyone went double clear or something.
I'd actually, when I was there, we had two other people in our barn that jumped it. While I was there, I didn't see anybody jump a clear round.
Oh, really?
Which was surprising. I thought there were going to be a lot, but
I ended with one down. For if you guys are wondering.
Oh shoot! Oh, I didn't watch.
Second to last fence. The out of the sea of the triple combination. Yeah, just touched
triple oxen.
Yeah, it was the vertical out. Yeah,
it was vertical. Sit up more or something.
No, I think I sat
up
too much.
The neck
No, it's a hind rail.
Oh shoot!
Yeah, but if you've seen my horse, you'd think like, yeah, you'd suggest me to sit up. I mean, he's a goer. I'm usually carrying a lot of momentum, so it's a tough one. It was an unfortunate rail. But okay, so speaking on that, we touched on U25 week 2, but let's do a quick recap. I would say of what you guys missed in the WEF circuit.
WEF recap.
Week 1.
Can't remember. 3-star.
3-star.
3-star in the international.
Yeah. I'm testing you.
Niall won.
There you go. There you go.
Good jump off.
It was a really good jump off.
Like a lot of clears, I think.
Yeah.
They were like 10 maybe.
10, something like that.
Good riders. I thought, who else was clear? McLain.
McLain was clear.
He was going to win.
He was extremely fast.
That was Niall's first ever Saturday Night Lights win.
Yeah, I did not know that until after. So I didn't realize that until, what was it? This past week when the little graphic came up that said like WEF wins.
Yeah, only one, yeah.
And only one, because Niall's been here long enough, and
he has won so many.
He's a very good rider. Yeah, he's got great horses. He's a great rider. So that was.
I would have thought one of his wins would have come here, but I guess not.
Well, I think that maybe that's just saying something of how hard it is to win.
Winning here, I think, is probably harder than winning anywhere else in the world.
Yeah,
because I just think there's more top horses and riders here than there are.
Well, and everyone, yeah, and I will say this too, because this conversation has come up a few times since I've been here. Everyone loves around the world to make fun of the U.S. and for a number of things.
Yeah.
Our shows or our the way we talk about horses. I don't know. I'm just like spitballing here. And yet every single year, more and more Europeans
They
show up
keep
here
coming.
for circuit.
Yeah.
Um, this year, for example, we have Christian who won this past week with individual gold medalist, the whole thing with
Yeah.
Checker. But he's here, right? Just right off the bat.
Because he
And
was here last year, but I don't think he came the whole time.
no, he didn't come the
He
whole
just
time.
came at the
He
end,
came
won
at
the
the end.
Rolex, and
He
left.
came here for Ocala, I think, and then
Oh,
stayed
right.
for the
Right.
Rolex,
Okay.
which we covered in one of our
Yeah.
first episodes. Yeah. But so I mean, obviously had a great experience. He's back, and Heinrich also showed that last week and
Yeah.
left last year because he was here for the Ocala Nations Cup, and all of a sudden he's here, and he's bringing his best horses. They're both bringing their best horses.
Yeah. King Edward was here last week.
King Edward was here. We got to touch on that. But but I think that says something about the circuit here. Of you're right. What you were saying. This is the hardest place to win in the world.
Yeah. I don't know. I think everybody just comes here and they stays. So, and that makes it even harder that it's 12 weeks and you have to have
It's grueling.
multiple horses.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't come here with one good horse and think you're going to win a single class.
If you come here with one good horse, it's going to be a long circuit because
Yeah.
you can't. I mean, how frequently can you show? How frequently should you be showing? That's another. And yeah, the odds of it are just astronomically against you because you're competing against the best combinations and multiple combinations that can win any given night class, any 4-star, 5-star, whatever. So
Also, last week the Grand Prix here was huge.
it was ginormous.
That was no 4-star. That was for a 5-star.
It was carnage.
With a 4 in front of it.
It was a 5-star with a 4 in front of
The
it.
4-star in thermal was not even compared.
Well, look at the horse and rider combinations. All right, so that's week 3. We covered week 1 with Niall. Jake's jumping the gun here.
Week 2.
Week 2 was out on the grass, which we mentioned. We talked about the U25, but let's talk about how the normal FEI went. Where
was that a 3-star also?
I think it was a 3-star
on the grass.
That's where we saw Heinrich come to play with Glamour Girl.
No.
Yeah, he won a class out there.
He did?
He did on the grass.
Opening class.
Useless
class.
It's still an opening class. And then Richie Vogel won the Grand Prix.
And the qualifier?
Did he win the qualifier?
No idea.
Don't remember.
Jessica Mendoza.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
that's
Richie
right.
won the Grand Prix, and he also won the same Grand Prix last year.
That's impressive.
On the same horse.
That's really impressive, actually. Yeah. I think the general listener will say you hear Richie's name, United Touch. Yes, I mean because that horse is so unique and so good and so striking. But I encourage you, if you don't know anything past United Touch, to watch Richie ride literally any other of his horses, and you'll appreciate what a great rider he is.
Yeah, I mean he rides every horse. He rides every horse the same.
Yeah. Obviously he adjusts to the horse, but you don't notice it as the viewer because it's the same style and it's that same consistency. And
obviously he's not leaving out strides on every horse.
Right. Well, and you gotta the respect too. Like I love how many fans that horse has, and rightfully so. But then respect to how hard that horse must be to ride, because you gotta at any given class you have to figure out: am I gonna leave it out here? Am I gonna do the number?
Yeah, especially in the smaller rings. Like I don't know, it seems
difficult.
Really not fun. Just like walking a course, just confused every line you walk.
Well, think about it, in any given class, it doesn't matter the height or the or even the technicality, because you're walking an entirely different course than everyone else out there.
Yeah,
that's how unique that horse.
In here, like in a big ring, he can just get on a big open canter and leave out a stride whenever he wants.
Right.
But in a small ring, like you can't always do that.
You can't do that. Exactly.
So the real number is going to be too short, and the leave out is going to be too far away sometimes. So
yeah, my money is that the first 5-star of the season, which is quickly approaching, we might get a glimpse. That's what we're hoping, right? Maybe.
What?
Of United Touch.
Oh, right. Yeah, maybe. I mean, I would assume so.
We're fingers crossed,
For
right?
sure.
Yeah, we got it. Okay, so back onto week 3, as we touched on before. Speaking of legendary horses, we got to see King Edward.
Yeah, King Edward did jump last couple days ago.
And for those of you who might not know, um, how long ago was it? A few months
For
ago,
what?
when Heinrich
The
said,
Olympics? Oh.
no, yeah, we touched on the Olympics, but when Heinrich said that he was going to give King Edward a little bit time off, and he has had some time off, and this was his first really class back, and showing his age, maybe
No.
show
Not
amount
age,
of
not
classes.
age related.
Well, just
He's
the
not that
miles,
old. Is he
miles.
old?
15 maybe, 14,
Oh,
15.
Shoot, I was gonna say, I thought he was like 13.
I think he might have been 13 last year.
Right, it's 2025.
Yeah, the years are quickly. All I'm saying, he had 2 down in that Grand Prix. But nonetheless, it was really cool to see the King here in Wellington.
Just a warm-up class.
Just a warm-up class. We're gonna see more of him, I'm sure.
More clear rounds for sure.
But Heinrich himself still continued to dominate. He won 2 classes with
Yeah.
his other Mount Glamour girl. And then the Grand Prix, as we mentioned, went to individual gold medalist Christian Kukuc.
Cuckoo.
I always fumble that last
Cuckoo.
name. Cuckoo. And Checker. And before we move on, that horse, I mean, obviously everyone is now aware of how good that horse is. But
he jumped the class.
how deceivingly fast is the rider and the horse combination? Because
it didn't look super fast, and then he went. Did he go first?
he went first, just like
Yeah.
he did in the Olympics.
Yeah.
And I mean, okay, rails happen. People trying to catch time. That makes sense.
A couple crashes.
A couple crashes.
Oh, the first round was also a bloodbath.
It was a tough class.
It was actually exciting.
I mean, people were swimming. I felt like every other person.
Yeah.
But you have to remember too. It's a 4-star, and he walks in and like you said. So obviously it's very difficult. But you're like, okay, this is the gold medalist rider and horse combo, but it's still a difficult class. But no, the comparison, I mean, he makes it look so easy with that horse.
The first round looked easy, and the jump off looked easier. He didn't look like he was going fast.
The horse is so deceivingly fast, and I was thinking, when he turns back to those wide oxers, or let's say or like with those vertical oxers with Checker, you can tell he doesn't struggle, and that's what makes it so quick, is that he doesn't spend so much time on the air, like a vertical oxer combination where it's a scope test, and it takes him no time, and that's why he's so successful with that horse.
Yeah, he doesn't really even have to try to go fast.
Right, and that's what gives you the advantage when going first at the Olympics. I mean, there you go, right? And I think that explains a lot of the success for that partnership.
Yeah, for sure.
Now we have to go to a topic that happened a while back, but
A month.
Before Christmas.
Yeah,
But
Christmas came early.
Christmas came early. We can't not talk about this topic because it took over our industry by storm, starting on the wonderful site that we call Facebook.
Yeah,
Facebook, the battleground of
the 50 and overs.
Some of our viewers might not even know what Facebook is, to be honest. Just being real here. 2 of our best riders got into a bit of a spat, so to speak. Well, only more like one of them. It was pretty one-sided, actually. But it was over.
One of them didn't even post a single thing.
That's true. This all was over an old masterclass clip / quote from Mr. Karl Cook talking about his views on American classical position and why it might not be as important, fundamental as people think, or it shouldn't be as fundamental as people think. And then, honestly, perhaps maybe the greatest American rider of all time, McLain, chimed in and called it, I quote, nonsense.
Yeah, absolute nonsense.
I mean, that's a strong word to use to just say, to throw that out there. Your thoughts?
Okay, the quotes used in the what what Noel Floyd posted, the quotes that were chosen, and the way
Yes.
that they were laid out, I don't know. I didn't watch the actual mastermind, honestly, so I have no idea, but
Right.
maybe he did say those things in that order, and with that,
So,
I mean, you can't hear tone through the text, but what it sounds like.
right. It sounded to me like he got his target audience wrong because I think he was trying to combat the idea of when someone comes out of the ring and a bad trainer says you screwed up because you didn't have your heels deep enough, for example. When clearly they maybe just like they got too deep. You mean at this specific jump? I don't know. I'm just making up a scenario.
I've never worked with a trainer that has blamed a rail or a mistake or something on my
But
heels being.
have you heard those situations before?
Yeah, I have heard some people say that.
Right. I think, but no, but I think it got lost in translation because when someone like McLain hears that and you think and you're trying to claim that your audience is of that caliber, you're going to take offense because that American system has been so successful for those riders for since the beginning of modern show jumping.
I mean, the American system produces countless amounts of talent,
Right.
and so
Well, and but okay, and
but
even
going against the American system doesn't make sense.
no, and we discussed before how Karl maybe has a target on his back too because this is not the first time that he's been outspoken on this topic,
No.
kind of anti-equitation.
Yeah, it's very clearly against the equitation.
Right. Which, okay, I've also heard Americans make that claim, though, that the equitation is moving farther and farther away from relevancy when it comes to higher level jumpers. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, yeah, for sure. It's almost like a posing game at sometimes at this
I'm not saying it doesn't.
I still like the equitation and think it's super beneficial,
Right.
but I do think that sometimes certain judges, maybe in kind of the overall look on it, is more of like it's how it looks over how effective it is.
Well, and I just think that the intention probably from Karl was to combat that specifically, but we did so in a way that sort of undermined position. If your argument is like against like pro European, you have Heinrich on there who's commenting on Facebook supporting McLain and his
Yeah.
claim.
Yeah, Henrik he did support McLain, and he's European, and his position is good for
Yes.
like it's not like I mean I guess it's not like the American position, but it is almost in a way. It's
Right.
close.
Right. Well, and even then too, when you talk about the American system as a base of operations, that doesn't mean that other people don't have different styles. If you watch our riders say on the team, they all ride differently.
Yeah, they have the same background, and they all ride differently.
Right. You
So it's
like so
I don't know.
it's one of those tricky topics. Is there a right answer? That's the question.
Well,
I'm looking for your take on this.
um, yeah, I don't know. I didn't watch Carl's Mastermind, but
Mastermind, masterclass.
It's the Masterclass.
I think it's masterclass. Is he a mastermind?
Well, honestly, sometimes he's
Yeah.
always thinking of weird stuff that
No,
like
no one can say that he doesn't.
maybe he's a mastermind. I mean, I don't know. His bit that he made
his
actually
bits,
awesome.
yeah.
I'll use and then I use it on like 3 horses.
Really, and you love it.
Amazing, yeah.
But I was gonna say, like Karl, his ideas and stuff, but he's also an extreme spokesperson. I would say,
He's very innovative.
He's innovative, and he represents the West Coast. A lot of people that don't feel represented at that level, right? We talk about West Coast versus East Coast. We're from the West Coast. We're East Coasters currently, but he holds a lot of weight in that community, as you saw on Facebook. The people defending him were
Solely West
West Coast. Let's be honest, solely West Coast based. But it's important to see someone from the West Coast at that level. I would say, right?
Yeah, I think he tries to. He just like
He's a trier.
he almost wants to like rebel and like do his own thing and just prove a point that he can do it in his own
in his own
in
way.
his own way. He's his work. I mean,
It is working. It is working. Yeah. So
he struggles to find people to agree with him on those topics. But
I just think so. Looking towards the future, this is like show jumping's Kendrick versus Drake. I mean, that's how much weight this held,
yeah,
and will probably continue to hold. But my question is, going forward for the team, is this a bad thing? I mean, because friction in sport is sometimes good, like Kobe and Shaq, as an example for sports fans. But Kobe and Shaq also split up.
yeah.
So,
Are one of them gonna go ride for a different country?
I mean, what would be your guess on that if that was to ever take?
Maybe
Is Mr. America as like Captain America.
Maybe Karl. Yeah, maybe you never know.
I think you'd be foolish not to say if these two haven't like talked it out, which I mean,
Maybe a text.
maybe a text.
For sure, they've said something because
But
Karl didn't say anything on social media.
You have to assume that these guys are going to represent on teams going in the future. I mean, if everything goes according to their plan.
Yeah,
I mean, first of all, it's McLain. Duh.
he'll be on a team.
He'll be on plan.
He'll be on.
I would say Karl is killing it right now. I mean,
They'll be on teams together, and they'll be.
and how do you address that? Does everyone just go their own way? Because we need there. I understand that as the sport gets more modern, it becomes you have your own program and your own horses, but there needs to be some sort of teamwork. I mean,
They'll be fine.
you
I think those two, they'll be fine. They will. They've already. I guarantee they've already like talked, and they've talked, and either they're fine, or they hate each other even more.
I think a great idea though would be to extend an invitation right now to both of them.
Yeah, open invitation.
Open invitation whenever either of you want, or both of you at the same time, to join the back gate.
Yeah.
And I just want to see that healthy debate go back
Healthy.
and forth. Healthy debate.
Hopefully, it's a little angry, the debate. It's just better for
views.
For views, it's more exciting.
We're in that interesting position where we're riders, so we want the debate, like in terms of like our own knowledge, but we're also enjoying this podcast landscape where the views would be nice.
Yeah, a fight honestly would be the best outcome.
If we want to go viral, I mean,
For sure, they have to be fighting.
the more drama, the better.
I mean,
A boxing match, an amateur boxing match.
that would actually be exciting. Okay, the Just World Gala just happened.
It did. I was
We could have
there.
a charity boxing match instead.
Honestly, I mean, sold out. People would spend thousands upon thousands.
Kidding me?
Can you imagine?
I actually would like to fight on like an undercard.
Could you imagine like show jumping amateur boxing?
That would be so fun.
And you show up the next day and there's like a 5-star the next
Yeah.
day. Everyone just shows up beat up with black eyes.
I mean, but they couldn't even fight. They're not in the same weight class. Well, maybe they are, because Karl's super tall but super skinny.
Yeah, so he's got the reach on McLain, but
And
McCain's a
is-
little
he's
stockier. Yeah.
You're more muscular.
Honestly, this just sounds like a better
It'd be
fight
a
the more and more you talk about it. Yeah, I don't know. I'm in. I think that's a great idea.
Probably do that
Sponsored by the back gate.
for sure. We could be like
We could be the guys that when the microphone comes down. In this corner, that guy? No,
Bruce Buffett,
something like that.
something like that. No.
You don't want to play
We could
that?
be the commentators for sure.
Oh yeah, well, obviously. Wow, we should be commentators. Yeah,
Yeah.
just like this, ringside.
See, I would
Okay, I would
fight on the undercard depending on who my
Who's your opponent?
if it was like evenly matched. Who's my opponent? There's nobody in
So what would you say is evenly matched?
us.
See, I was gonna say, I'm pretty sure
We should
in
fight.
terms of weight and height and stuff, we're
It's us.
probably gonna be
I don't
the
think we
closest.
know anybody else. It's that close.
It looked
Probably
like
a couple girls that are about the same height as us.
yeah,
Yeah.
probably more muscular than us too. Honestly,
Speak for yourself.
no. I was
hit you.
I was keeping things light.
Okay. Yeah.
What a
maybe we could
joke.
Fight. Gosh, that would probably bring in a lot of numbers for the podcast.
I think this is. We're just setting it up for the future. This is
I didn't even think about that.
honestly, in our experience, I would say in our short experience as podcasters, I feel like we come up with our best ideas mid-episode.
Oh, for sure. And then we always forget.
We
to
always do,
implement
we
them.
never follow through.
No.
This time is different, listeners. We're calling our shot now.
Weekly episodes. Maybe a fight every 6 months.
That's realistic.
one fight a year.
One fight. Yeah. Okay.
Maybe like week 12.
Week 12, when everyone is so done with everything, just get people in a ring and they'll have it out.
Maybe like in between the first round and the jump off of the Rolex Grand Prix.
People would show up just for that because that's the most boring time in between the first round and the jump off. You want to keep people in their seats. Just give the horses a longer time to recoup too. Imagine if you would go last night class, you got to turn around and jump off.
Right.
No, take them back to the barn. They can have some water and hay.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a boxing match in between. It's okay.
Yeah. I was thinking like, minute 30 for like 6 rounds.
We can do that. This is a great
This
idea.
can't be in between the round. The first. This has to be a solo event.
Yeah, honestly, we can't use it. Yeah, this has to be standalone. Save one of the weeks for our own Saturday Night Lights.
Yeah, one Saturday night, maybe like I don't know, week 11. If I don't know what they have going on, but move it to the grass.
Move it to the grass.
Make us Saturday night.
If you're
bigger numbers for
Wellington, if you guys are listening,
we could sell out
we could
the stadium.
sell the entire stadium.
100%.
Anyways, I think going back to the McLain part of it, I was like, where did we actually even avenue to this?
Yeah.
I think it'll be interesting to follow. I think that it's hard to think that this would be the end of it. That the last you hear of this type of debate.
No, for sure not.
And future teams, I think it's something to look forward to. But we would love to hear more about this back and forth because it's an interesting debate. It's a little bit of a warfare on the equitation on Karl's perspective and McLain protecting those good traditional American values in the equitation sense.
I guess. That's pretty much what it is. It's just like,
Is there a right answer?
no. Well, no, I guess not.
You want there to be a right answer, but
Everybody, you want your opinion to be the right answer, but there's probably not a right answer. It's like the old versus the new, pretty much.
we'll see.
Except, how many people are on Team New?
I was gonna say the team new usually is the stronger youth, but in this case it might not.
I don't know about youth.
Yeah, but Karl has so many fans though. The walking and talkings. I mean, people wait.
He does have a lot of like followers and people.
I'm eager to see. I'm eager to see how this ends up, and we're not trying to encourage divide, but we're trying to encourage some discussion. I don't want people to ignore this. This needs to be talked about.
Yeah.
It's important. We're literally talking about two of our top riders in our country. Let's get to the bottom of it, in my opinion.
That's never happening.
We'll see where it goes. All right, before we leave, we'll get through some quick sports topics.
Oh, right. Yeah, the Chiefs and the Eagles are playing in the Super Bowl. Who cares? Nobody's watching.
The terrible
Nobody wants
matchup.
to watch.
People are going to watch for the halftime show solely. Kendrick Lamar.
Chiefs fans and Eagles fans will watch, and that's it.
Yeah, the only person I'm happy for is Saquon Barkley. That's it.
Right. Saquon Barkley.
But as a Broncos fan and as a Chargers fan, I mean, fly Eagles fly, right?
Yeah,
Chiefs.
100%.
If the Chiefs win, I'm quitting the NFL.
I actually bet on the Chiefs to win the Super Bowl.
See I mean.
I hate the Chiefs, but you have to. Money's money.
Speaking of bets, should we make a wager on the upcoming Formula One season?
Wait, let's make a wager on the Super Bowl.
Oh, okay. Super Bowl wager first.
I'm taking the Chiefs. So
I'll take the Eagles.
Okay. How much?
$50.
100.
50.
100. Then we'll lower the other one.
All right. We'll say 100.
100.
And we'll go with Formula One season. Lewis Hamilton is the Ferrari driver.
Who would have thought?
But I'm still sticking with my McLaren team.
Ferrari. No, one of the Ferrari drivers will win. One of them. Charles wins his first. Lewis hopefully doesn't win his 8th. But
are we going with constructors wager, or are we going with the drivers championship wager?
Drivers. I think
a specific.
Let's go teams. Let's go either Ferrari driver wins or either McLaren driver wins.
All right, for the driver championship. All right, how much you input on that? We're gonna be one of us is gonna be broke. I mean, let's be honest here. Like we have no money to actually throw around. We're just like talking a big game on the podcast.
Okay, the Super Bowl is coming up soon, but the other ones are in the future.
This is what to save or lose. depending. We're not really a sport.
At this point in our careers, we're making almost nothing.
It's
But
not really a sport where saving is a real possibility, in my opinion.
no,
Oh,
no. Yeah, I didn't think of that. No, we'll be fine.
we'll be fine. We'll be fine.
We'll be fine.
I'm gonna pay off all my debt.
Whoever wins the Super Bowl
Yeah.
bet will be close.
Closer.
We'll do 200 on Formula One.
So any McLaren driver wins the championship, any Ferrari driver. And if neither wins, it's a wash. There we go. We shook on it.
Yeah, now it's official.
It's official.
If we're still doing this podcast in November, you'll know what happens. For sure, we'll have one we'll do another one
We gotta do another
after the Super Bowl. Weekly.
weekly. Well, looking ahead. So we talked about next week, or this upcoming week, I should say. U25 work for both of us. We'll see how that goes.
Maybe see if actually no, there's money. It's team.
It's team. There's money, of course.
Okay,
Money every week.
so that will get one of us. Maybe both of us. Well, I don't know how far down they pay. Your team will probably be pretty far down there, but
We'll see. We haven't even discussed the teams.
I'll be able to pay off my bet for sure after this week.
If you guys haven't figured out, U25 week this week is teams, and we're in 2 different teams.
Did we talk about that already?
I don't know if we just did, but I just wanted to throw it out there again.
Yeah, we're the U25 teams this week. We're on different teams. My team is good.
My team is also good.
Well,
We'll find out.
yeah, I wonder what the other teams look like.
I was gonna say, I have no other. Besides your team, I have no idea who else is teamed up. But
Should we do a bet on our U25 team?
absolutely not.
$50.
Anything in our power is not a good bet.
Our individual scores. Whoever has the most faults pays $20.
I was just gonna say covers like a Taco Bell run or something.
It's like $20. Like probably not.
This is way too many wagers for one episode.
Gosh, what else can we do?
This has just become a amateur boxing plan.
And then we can bet on
Ring.
boxing.
And we can bet on the boxing.
Fighting. I don't think we can. I just put all my money on you and then let you win.
I'm pretty sure that's the whole point of the danger of that type of boxing. Yeah, we'll see. We'll work something out. You shouldn't have said that.
What? Oh, right.
Well, whatever. We'll edit. Someone needs to know about our
Insider betting.
insider betting operations.
Yeah.
Yeah, that just started right now in the podcast.
5 minutes ago.
5 minutes ago. Yeah, U25 action. It's another 5-star action in California.
Wow. Woo.
California. We'll have to be covering that one away for the first time. Insane.
We
We won't be there. And
we could do. You know what we should do? We should do our own commentary and watch it live and then commentate the.
and that's another thing. We'll release this episode. I actually thought of that. Let us know if you want us to do some
Live commentary.
commentary of some of these classes. We could take it to you live in future weeks at Wellington as we're watching, or we could cover it something that's going on the West Coast or anywhere else in
I
Europe,
can do live,
and we'll find out.
but like
No, I know.
it's just not a good idea.
Tough schedule for.
No, that's not what I mean. No, it's more of a technical thing. Technical difficulties. You know, it's.
We have a lot of technical difficulties.
If you guys saw the setup right now, ooh, you would be worried.
Well, don't worry. It's still work in progress, but
It's only up from here.
it's only up from here. This is our first week back in a while, and it's like you said, we're gonna get some momentum, and it's only up from here. We promise this time. It's a Jake guarantee.
Yep. Weekly.
Maybe
Maybe bi-weekly. No, that's 2 a week, isn't it?
2 a week.
Yeah. Bi-monthly.
We're not ready for that.
Bi-yearly.
Bi-yearly. At this rate, it's probably it's more bi-yearly. But
did not
weekly.
episodes
This
last year.
well, we did like 4 or 5.
I think less. Yeah, we did 5, I think.
All right, this time is different. We're in Wellington together. It's happening. This is the first time we're doing this setup. Thank you for listening. And 2 weeks from now, we're going to do that Super Bowl recap too. Hopefully that we get a Fly Eagles Fly victory. Anyways, thank you so much for listening. Back at the back gate. Thank you to my co-host, Jake Endicott. Thank you to our producer who, I don't know where she is right now, but she's doing Crazy things for the Chargers.
Not here. That's where she's
Not here. She knows
she's
the
not
Wellington.
here.
Terrible. Miss Mia
I'm
Jones.
concerned she doesn't work here anymore.
She's going to be pissed when she hears that.
Fired.
Thank you again. And we'll see you next time at the back gate.
And thank you to the fans.
Thank you to the fans. Those of you who
thank the fans.
stuck with us this entire time. We're going to reward your patience with some sick episodes coming up. Thanks again. Peace out. Love ya.